Hey, here we go. Ujvala Shamanik with the GNA challenge. I call this the Negtar challenge because it goes to show who's above, right? Coming from above. Negtar is negativity from above. Negativity is not all bad. So it all depends if you negate yourself, then it becomes bad or good. Watch. So that is the Negtar challenge. Okay, so let's see what today is. If we're going to what the world has to show us. Let's say divinity. Here it is. Basically, consciousness can become more so prevalent. This is from the GNA book, by the way, Geo-Negative axis. So basically, consciousness can become more so prevalent in allowing all to actually do things, which are magnificent and graceful in their own right. I mean, people can become such experts in tracking and creating energy that life can occur on almost any given function of persuasion like magic. If we become master in GNA resolution and quality, we will monetarily gain control of our existence, more to the point of actual mysticisms. What we create on a matter basis in gadgets and all now is what we can actually do, like with our bodies, is my theories as well. The theory of existential conscious evolution, when things manifest more from consciousness direct, also, as I also theorized, the fact that matter has consciousness in it as it is all from consciousness. And to what extent is it closer to its natural state, as the particle of life or GNA, determines in its layer of existence as we move faster than our thought in a given chance to rescue something or answer a question without any premeditation or defending ourselves in a split second of thought and dispensation, so it is likely we can unravel consciousness from matter eventually. That we also argue something must have a base in order to be relative. The relative has to have a perception in order to function or exist, even in its finite disposition. Relativity is part of what stemmed from Geo-Negative axis function. It is the defining assistant of life as to underlie even principle, every principle and aspect, as in GNA occurred in relativity manifested within GNA context. Relativity is like the hand that snapped into a posture. GNA is a shoulder by where its motion and function came from. So that, as I explained before, if you do something, we don't say, hey, that was his knee that touched you, right? You say, no, that was his shoulder. No, you don't say that. You say, right, that wasn't his shoulder, it was his hand that touched you, it was his elbow, right? So sometimes we do hit people with the shoulder, it's possible. So I went over that again. Now, all these things are relative because they're part of something. So relativity has to have something to be a part of to exist for itself. This is why it's been left inconclusive and no one has given it a full dynamic context to it. Metaphysics is something. Metaphysics actually makes the whole world, in case you guys don't know what it is. Metaphysics determines everything. So if you have point velocity, if you know where things begin, where they pivot, where's the point, then you could determine how to make things around it. So the problem is a lot of things were made without this understanding, and that's what we have now. We have a lot of defective systems. And some people, and they, of course, they hold a lot of technology back and they know things, but some of them don't even know negative philosophy. So therefore, their metaphysics are not, they're not able to comprehend what physics really is. So that's the difference. Negative philosophy has to do with negation of the world for the spirit soul, which is the smallest thing, which is the greatest thing. That's really what it is. So we can determine what the world is if we try. And we can make things possible if we really try, meaning we work together. Negating oneself to help others automatically makes a strand of Geo-Negative axis, which can be a double negative intentional DNI. So if you hashtag DNI, you can find it on Twitter. Basically, double negative intentional is when both parties negate their self to do what's right and worthy. They make a positive, which also can become a negative. You understand? It's a little hard to get. But it's like this. If I made something and someone else made something that doesn't end at us, that's meant for someone else to reuse, to make something for somebody else, now we just made a strand of negative potential. And this way everybody gets, and nobody's left out. Everybody also gets work accordingly. So it's all about making these negative strands in the world where people are negating themselves and the other person is negating themselves that they're working for higher principle. If we negate ourselves for the higher principle and we don't just see God as some liar and we give up this material energy in its pursuit of nonsense, then we can go far. So let's go on this next book, which is the Bhagavd Gita. And the verse is a very interesting verse because it has a very long purport. So it must be a good verse. Oh, this is a section of verses. Oh, God's really wanting us to talk here. So I guess it's been a while and we have to talk about this. Oh, well, this is a long one. This is too long. This is about the humility. Let's go over this. Humility, pridelessness, nonviolence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching the bona fide spiritual master. Cleanliness, steadiness, and self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego. The perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, non-attachment to children, wife, home, and the rest. And evil-mindedness, and amid pleasant, unpleasant events. Even-mindedness amid pleasant, unpleasant events. That's hard to conquer, because when people, when I got attacked one time, I even said, you don't have to punish. I'm not I don't have to press charges on these people, but you could do as you like. You could. But basically, I had when it first happened. But as these people lied to me and led me on, then it becomes a certain level of retention. So we have to know our retention level and try to use it best, because it says that path is best. And Gandhi proved that. So we always have to try to be cool-minded in life. That's what this is telling us. Yeah. So, resorting to solitary places, right? Constant, unalloyed devotion, right? To me. So it says, home resting environments and pleasant, unpleasant events. Constant and unalloyed devotion to me. That means unalloyed, without mixed. I'm going to worship you, but this is also for my friends. This is also for my ancestors. This is also for me to have a good marriage. This is also for me. It's too much of that. So if you don't do that, then you're a higher version automatically. Resorting to solitary places, attachment from general mass of people. Resorting to solitary places, detachment from the general mass of people. Accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I thus declare to be knowledge. And what is contrary to these is ignorance. Now this is Lord Sri Krishna speaking. I opened this verse up today open-heartedly. And I try to just say, hey, whatever this says. And I didn't look. I detached my brain from my body to have activity so that it can just open itself. And this is what came out. So it says, it says in the hermits, the people that are detached from to the mass, they're actually, what does it say? They're in knowledge. I declare to be knowledge. So Krishna's declaring what a knowledge is. Okay, it's humility, it's pridelessness, it's non-violence, it's tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Don't try to always say, I got this. All I need to do is call my friend, he's a shaman, he went to India a couple times. Whatever it is, you have to do things thoroughly. If they don't have a sudden effect or real effect, they're not real. It's automatic. You should know this. Honestly. I know people that follow Guru for 6 months to a year even, and they don't have much effect. And they don't realize that's not a real Guru. If that was a real Guru, you would want to have his initiation within days, minutes even. That's how real the vibe is, the resplendency, the wave of love. Yeah. So, let's check out some of the Sanskrit. This is awesome. Amanitvam madambhitvam ahimshakam tir arjavam acharyopashanam saucham shtayam atmavinyagraha indriyateshu varagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkadoshanudarshanam ashaktiranavishanga puttadara gridhatishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopapatishu maichananya yogena bhaktiran vyabhicharani viviktalesha sevitvam aratirjana samsadi adhyatmagyana nityatvam tattvajnarnartha darshanam etajnanam iti proktam agyanam yad atonyata. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, and self-control. Renunciation of obvious sense gratification, absence of false ego. Sense, these are like things that we understand in this world. Sometimes we fall a victim. We need to know. We need to know how things are. Maybe that will be fun. Maybe something else will be interesting. So this world we play Scrabble. All right, we try to determine things. We try to go things out of our norm. But in actuality, it's saying those who are more self-sense controlled in that they are better because they can do things right. How? Because they approach the bona fide spiritual master. So that's the key thing. You see how he says first, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, then do cleanliness, then do steadiness, then do self-control, then do renunciation, then objects of the senses. First be humble, first be prideless, first be non-violent, first be tolerant, first be simple, then approach a bona fide spiritual master. Then be clean, then be steady, then be self-controlled, then be renounced, then be renounced from the sense objects, then absence of false ego, then the perception of evil, birth, death, old age, disease, not attachment to the children. Be away from the perception of old age, be away from the perception of disease, be away from all these perceptions. So that is knowledge. And then, so renunciation of the absence of false ego, the perception of evil, the perception of birth, death, old age, and disease, not attachment to the I try to practice this, because if you want to look at people like they're so evil, you may be wrong. It's very well you're wrong. People are actually not that evil in this age. They've been a lot eviler. And they may be capable of very, very evil things. It's usually the rationale. They didn't realize that after 20 minutes, people can get over anything they hate. Or 30 minutes. They've done this study. 30 minutes it takes them, and then they don't feel the anger anymore. It's gone. So that's the thing. All right? Now, we have to understand this, because this can save us. Knowledge can save us. So this is knowledge. And then he goes further and says, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events. Constant, unalloyed devotion to me. Meaning, when you turn to God, don't turn to Him for a new car. Try not to, You don't have to sit there all day thinking, because you're eventually going to get that car. But hey, you're not paying attention to everything else that's going on. And your whole life can go by like this. Oh, God, give me the car. Now he's not interested in helping you with something else. Because, hey, He gave you what you want, and now you have to show it. Now you owe Him all this. Now all this karma's coming. So yeah, be mindful. Try to get the real thing. It's there, but you have to first go to the real thing. How do you do that? You have to first start being humble, be pridelessness, approach a bona fide spiritual master. So when you do that, then you go further. Then you can resort to a solitary place. Then you could accept the importance of self-realization. Then you could have a philosophical search for the absolute truth. And then you could declare all those as knowledge. And anything that's against that is ignorance. That's what it is. It is ignorance. If you don't have evil-mindedness, if you don't have all these things, you are ignorant. It's as simple as that. And if you disclaim others that have it, if you disclaim others that don't chase this world of pleasures and are not, then you're the evil one. You're the ignorance of this world of darkness, and you are the person that people need to watch out about. So don't be that person. Also, admit your own faults. Maybe you're 5% of this. Maybe you're 10. Maybe you're 30. In this world, we understand there's more. Everyone's mixed with divine, mixed with demonic. So we have to kind of be in the middle, right? But then we need to go further. At least find out where you are in the middle of that. Meaning, don't try to be too. You have to see. Okay, I can't be a complete saint right now, but I don't have to eat mammals. There's other food. There's beans. There's grains. I don't need to. So like that, you have to find foreground, ground that you can rest your head and be reassured. Well, anyway, that's enough for now, and I hope that helped you out for the day. And I'll hopefully be back. Get the book if you haven't. It's gna.media@mail.com. That's gna.media@mail.com to order your book today. All right. Happy holiday, and we're hopefully in the new year. Alrighty, take care. Geo-Negative Access.